the questionnaire that was put out was a questionnaire that the judge initially put together and asked for the attorneys to read and have issues or questions concerning the way the questions were. And I believe, this is my own interpretation or belief, is that Stein is trying to get some leverage by, not arguing every little thing when it comes to what comes from the judge. So we have a questionnaire from the judge that is slanted and tainted. You see what I'm saying? And now the jury selection process is a one-day process for a murder trial, and then the judge look at this and that this trial really might not even take 2 weeks. So as far as he's concerned, it is not that important. And then this is the other thing that I came to, because a lot of this stuff happened by design, is that Michael Jackson's trial is on the same floor, the same time period. And one of the reporters already told me that everybody's going to be focused on that. And what is the reason for that? Because since this case is so big and because it entails a white officer killing an African-American male, that if we could take our eyes off of that and go to our beloved Michael Jackson family and take a look at the fact that this doctor may have murdered one of the biggest icons in our African-American history, you know what I'm saying? That we tend to forget that what really happened here is that we're going to let this police officer off because we're too busy concerned about this other stuff.
They can ask for a change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like the defense is getting everything that they're asking
They get
for.
everything.
What are we asking for?
We haven't got anything.
Well, what are they asking for it?
No.
But
the DA's decision.
It doesn't sound like that they are.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
does
I'm not
seem like
hearing.
why would
I'm
they-
not hearing
Yeah.
the DA fight a vigorous
Well, that's what our concern
case.
That's what our concern is.
And that is the
Our
concern.
concern is, they had a piece in the Chronicle a few months ago about the new DA, Nancy O'Malley, and the difficult position, quote, she's in. Because as I stated, the DA's office relies on the police for just about every case that comes their way.
Right.
So when Orloff told us that there was a special relationship between law enforcement and the DA's office, that relationship has not gone away. Ms. O'Malley wants to be elected as the district attorney. And because so many of our people do time, it doesn't look like too many black attorneys want to be a DA. So Mr. Orloff ran for DA unopposed repeatedly. And while there's an election upcoming, I've yet to hear that anybody is running against Nancy O'Malley for district attorney of Alameda County. So we may find it in our interest to reach out for her again before this case gets further underway. She'll be in Los Angeles, according to what I heard, and maybe we can get her here a few minutes to let her hear what some of our concerns are, because we're absolutely concerned.
If I could say this too,
Yes, sir.
that if we look back in time, an OJ case or any other case that's high profile when it came to DA representing the police and charging an individual, they get the experts. Them DAs will hire experts to come in and prove the trajectory of the bullet, the timing of the gun when it was pulled, and how the defendant actually shot back and just missed. They have experts that explains that. In our particular case, we have a DA that really calls experts whores. And so therefore, by using that word, don't believe in that they need to be paid. So therefore, Raves can hire all the experts he wants. We have a small budget that the DA office decided to give our attorney Stein, and then Stein has to use that money wisely, and one of the last things he wants to do is hire an expert to counter an expert, which don't make no sense. Because here we got it, the judge is saying, well, I like what this expert is saying, therefore Stein says, well, we don't need no expert, so you can like what, it's really not looking good.
It goes back to it's not being a vigorous prosecution, which is, truthfully, I personally expected that. I have no confidence in the district attorney of Alameda County. I have no confidence in district attorneys on a national scale, because the Ku Klux Klan, police have garnered such strength and power by way of their union. And because that they have become the key endorser of any elected official or anyone interested in becoming an elected official, it weighs heavily to the outcome of that particular elected official's stance on the approach of crime. Crime in America has become the #1 financer for particularly the merchandising industry. If they don't have prisons, we don't make money. If you don't have prisons, you don't have employment. If you don't have police, you can't have prisons. So all of this is encompassed, and it all comes into one particular umbrella, and then they control the masses.
Here's what we must do. We need to make sure we make an aggressive outreach for the community for next Saturday's town hall. Because at that point, the opening arguments should have been made or may be underway. The community needs to know from us what's happening in these courtrooms. We cannot expect that KTVU is going to give us what we need to know. We were very clear, particularly after Anthony Peroni cast racial epithets at Oscar and no media in the Bay Area covered it. We're very clear, thank you, that we cannot expect to get from the Tribune, the Chronicle, the LA Times, or any of the Bay Area news what actually has happened. The community needs accurate reporting. So when we come back next Saturday and the Saturdays following that, we want to make sure that we bring as accurate a report and as great a show of support for the Grant family and for the community at large that suffers of police brutality. So we're asking you to help us to reach all of our police brutality activists, to reach out for our family and friends who want to know where this case is going, realizing that we're not going to get it in any real way across the common media. Can you help us in that? So if each of us making an effort to reach 5 people that you're going to bring to next Saturday's town hall, there'll be further follow-up about our convention for the oppressed by next Saturday, so that we begin the process of organizing the black, the brown, the red, the yellow, and the white people who want to ensure that justice is served here in the state of California. We're not going to let any of these issues that we're standing on die. Our duty is to lift them up and make it plain, so that if those in elected office have the heart and desire to do right, then we've given them the right option. In too many occasions, we've not given to elected officials options. We've allowed them to give us the options that they got from the developers. Well, in this instance, we've got to flip the script. That we will develop the agenda that we want to see our elected officials execute. Now, we're close enough with them to talk, so it's not like we're going to create an agenda and haven't spoken with those of ours that are in these positions. However, if and where our elected officials need right guidance, that's what we're here for. So if you recall, when Oscar was murdered, only 1 or 2 elected officials came out in the first day or 2. It took the community drive, the community force, to bring out of those who should have spoken in the first place to speak in the second place. Now, finally, when the verdict is rendered, there are many activists that are already preparing to gather that evening, 6 o'clock at 14th and Broadway. We will keep you abreast of what kind of plans that is, but of course, we're hopeful that the jury will see what we all know to be the fact, and that is Johannes Mezovic is guilty of 187 and should spend his life in jail as a murderer. That's what we're looking for. Yes, sir.
I got the Oakland Police Department calling me concerning about what's going to happen on the 14th and what's going to happen on the 14th and Broadway. I'm like, I'm not.
Tell them to go pray.
Yeah, they leaving phone numbers, and, you know.
All we can say to OPD about when the verdict is announced is pray for the right outcome.
That's right.
We are not producing nor controlling what happens from what's in the heart of people who may either have great joy or great pain when the decision is rendered. The best thing that OPD and other law enforcement officials can do in city government